My name is Rebecca Morrison, and I am from Texas. I'm 26 years old. So when I was about 19, I met my future husband, Ian Morrison. He was at West Point, and we began dating and eventually got married. And he was an Apache pilot in the Army, and I was a teacher, and we lived at Fort Hood, Texas. And Ian eventually deployed to Iraq.
We interviewed Rebecca Morrison, a wife of a captain in the military who returned home with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Ian had some issues with sleep. That was his main concern, was that he had a hard time sleeping at night, and he felt a lot of anxiety. It took about 3 months for those side effects to start showing up. And when he did voice his concerns to me, we looked into care with the military. He sought help 6 times from the military in a matter of about 4 days.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is a reaction to an event or series of events of severe trauma. Our military has an increased risk of developing PTSD and oftentimes do not receive proper resources of treatment. Congress, we need your help.
Does this system of delivering health care to veterans need to change?
Well, I think the indications would suggest that it does. I think
it needs to keep summoning the commitment and the resources to make sure we're there when you reach out.
I think clearly the long wait times are a part of the difficulty.
Because nobody should ever suffer alone, and no one should ever die waiting for the mental health care that they need.
Given the number of veterans struggling with psychiatric issues, it's difficult to meet that demand.
That's unacceptable, and all of us have to do better than we're doing.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is not new to the military. It has existed in the past with different names such as shell shock, combat fatigue, soldier's heart, and post-Vietnam syndrome. It is triggered by an event outside the range of usual experience, usually accompanied by intense fear, terror, or helplessness. These are the sort of conditions our military deals with on a daily basis. After the traumatic events, other things can trigger the release of chemicals in the brain, as if the person is experiencing the trauma, creating a fear response that's both physical and mental.
There's an underlying tension the entire deployment. There's a, could be a rocket coming in at any given time with your name on it. So it's a stressful environment to begin with. And then when people start getting killed or hurt, and then you're away from your family, and it's just sort of any combination of horrible things that could happen that contribute.
There's a broad description of symptoms and effects, and they don't always pop up in the same people, but some of the key red flags are sleep deprivation, anxiety, loss of interest, not wanting to eat, loss of interest in things that they enjoy, lack of exercise, lack of energy, just a heightened sense of awareness and feeling like they're on guard all the time.
There's a night, or waking up in sweats with night chills, having thoughts that I could just end it right now and just kill myself. Soldiers themselves are afraid to show a bit of humanity and say that they had some real struggles.
My breaking point came when I got back.
We just got back that night. What do? We go out for a beer. Drive back of trash in the road. And I jerked the steering wheel away from the bag of trash in the road because it could be a roadside bomb. And everyone went silent.
Ian was eventually prescribed Ambien and told to take it for 10 days and come back. And he was given no care during that time. That no one checked in on him. He didn't see a counselor, and took it for 3 days. And on the 3rd day, I was teaching elementary school in Fort Hood, and we talked on the phone, and he seemed fairly upbeat and had gone to try to get a counselor. The military didn't have any space for him. I was in graduate school at the time, so I was on my way to graduate school, and we called and talked on the phone, and it seemed like he was doing fine. He said I would see him that night, and when I came home from school, At about 9:30 at night, I came home and found that he had taken his life in our bedroom. And it was completely unexpected and devastating to my world and into his. Suicide within our military is not just a problem, it's an epidemic. Within the military, we lose one active duty service member a day to suicide and 22 veterans. And as of yesterday, studies showed that more young military are dying by suicide after they get out of the military than those are dying active duty in service overseas. So it is drastically changing our country and taking the lives of millions.
There are many available treatment options for post-traumatic stress disorder, including eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, and using animals.
The issue is not that it's not effective, it's that people aren't going, and even those that are going sometimes are having trouble getting in because of the vast number of people that need care. In the case of my husband, he never came in and said, I think I'm going to kill myself. He said, I can't sleep, I don't want to eat, I'm not working out, and those were all symptoms and red flags and should have been noticed, and he should have been taken care of. So I think, making these programs more available to people, as well as training the triage and the intake personnel to notice the signs and the symptoms. If there's a way that we can help prevent this from affecting more people and stealing lives, I think that we have to do it. And just appreciate any efforts toward that goal.
These men and women risk their lives fighting for our country. Congress, it is our duty to fight for them as well.